So my friends, a warm welcome and a wonderful good morning to everyone for a new crypto update video. Bitcoin is currently at 112,300 US dollars. Last night we saw another slight sell-off because Donald Trump once again thought, hey, I'll just put out another post and complain that China isn't buying any soybeans. So now everyone is buying my soybeans. And Bitcoin didn't really like that at first, or rather the whole market didn't, not really. And we dipped down a little bit more, but nothing really critical. We're still at 112,300 US dollars at this point. That means our option, which I already posted about yesterday, where I briefly pulled back because I thought we had formed a lower low, is still on the table. That's why we'll definitely take a look at that in today's update video. Of course, we'll also look at the altcoins, the stock markets, etc., and so on. So make sure to stay tuned until the end. But before we get started, as always, feel free to leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And of course, feel free to join the free Telegram talk and signal group. If you're interested in updates, news, and signals, feel free to join. You'll find the link for that for free down in the video description. And if you're still looking for an exchange where you can trade all of this, feel free to sign up with my partner, WeEX. Currently, you can secure up to 11,500 USDT in bonuses and use that to test out the exchange. There's also a deposit event going on right now where you basically just need to deposit $500 and then you'll get a free trade as well if you reach certain trading volumes. So I would say Bitcoin at 112,300 US dollars. As I said yesterday, I already posted this in the Telegram group that this would be a possibility. That was just before we got the dump. At this point, we might have a possible 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So a nice Elliott wave count forming here. Why do I think that? Because as I said, we didn't get a lower low. We reversed down here at the 0.886 level. By now, that means the two would actually be very, very likely here in the end. At this point, and with that, our technical price targets up here are between 118,000 and 121,000 US dollars. That was also a target we've had in mind for a few days now because there's inefficiency up here and because the 0.786 Fibonacci retracement level is also up here. And we also still have some vectors lying around up here. So the confluence up here in this price range, and I think Rick wrote it in the Telegram group yesterday, that you could also say theoretically, well, where is it now? I'm a bit off today, that we might possibly have a nice double bottom here, which would also fit very well with the technical price target up here. Unfortunately, we don't have any new information regarding the shutdown. It's still ongoing. Powell stated that on the one hand, he has enough data available to him, that the labor market, of course, isn't doing so well anymore. On the other hand, he also said that he doesn't quite have enough data to make proper decisions. So the labor market is crap. We could actually lower the interest rates, but we're missing the data, although to be honest, we probably already have it anyway. So to sum it up, that's what Powell said yesterday. So still basically no new significant developments, no important information for us. Yeah, not much is really happening there. I also started a bot yesterday on Pionex, a long bot. It's still running, now secured with a stop loss entry, and profits have been taken. The short bot is still running as well. That means we're actually very, very well positioned in both directions now, set up here, at least on this side for now. If we look at the funding rates, they've gone up slightly. With Bitcoin, that's not exactly what I want to see at this point. And if we look at the heat map, we can clearly see the cluster 116 to, I'll just say up to 119,000 US dollars. That's where most of the liquidity is located. 3-day view. Let's switch to the weekly view and take a closer look at it. We can see if it would load, so we see a similar picture. Most of the liquidity is above us, is just sitting there. There's hardly any liquidity below us, of course, because who could have opened any trades down here at this point? All right. Let's move on to the altcoins. Ethereum continues to hold up very, very solidly. We've almost filled the inefficiency down here, and with that, also the vector to 50%. That's a very, very good sign for me. So for anyone still holding a long position here, the targets should also be clear. $4,400 to $4,700. Those would be the next targets if we, so to speak, manage to overcome this sell zone. The sell zone, it's everywhere, not just with Ethereum, but also with Solana. Very, very crucial in my opinion. We've now formed higher lows everywhere, which is a good sign. But we need to get above this sell zone, close the inefficiency, fill the vectors, and form a higher high. If that's the case, there could still be a short pullback, but we would have a structure break because we have a higher high. If we don't manage to get above here, and that actually brings us right over to Solana, then the whole thing still looks bad. And we could still see an A, B, C, D, and the E variant would take us down towards 150 to 130 US dollars. So we're not out of the woods yet, even though prices are starting to rise again and things are calming down a bit, but just be extremely careful. I'm still, of course, short here because we've hit the short zone up here, just like with Ethereum. So both shorts are currently running, plus, of course, the longs in parallel. That means we're doubly well positioned. And now we're just waiting to see how the price decides at this point. Otherwise, let's move on to what else do we have? Hype. Pretty monotonous. Not much is really happening. Chainlink is also pretty monotonous. Not much is really happening here either. Here too, possible three-wave movements that could take us up towards $24 to $25. So you see, the patterns are the same everywhere. The price just needs to finally pump upwards. If we look at the traditional markets and switch over to the euro versus the US dollar, we can also see that the short is still running. Stop loss at entry by now, and just let it run. There's really nothing more we need to say about it at the moment. And then we move over to the traditional markets. The DAX, yeah, nice sell-off, held up a bit again, but somehow it's still not quite convincing. So while the stock indices are already scratching at all-time highs again, the DAX is still lagging. 2.5% below, short position, so that's going well. I already mentioned the stop loss at entry yesterday. Take your profit. And now we'll wait and see how the DAX continues to perform. Dow Jones, as I said, almost at the upper limit again. It's really crazy. NASDAQ. Yeah, yesterday it actually looked much, much better during the live stream, but then it still closed in the red, of course, again, because of the news from Trump. But it should be noted that the gap was filled, which is a positive sign. Now it depends on how today ultimately plays out. Tomorrow, or rather, no, today ASML will follow the earnings. That's going to be very, very interesting as well, especially regarding the AI sector. If those are positive, we'll probably see a new all-time high here soon. And finally, the individual stocks at this point, let's take a look at them. Wave Quantum is incredible. It's crazy how it pumps from one all-time high to the next all-time high. It's now trading at $44. No, not 44 cents, but $44. In any case, it's performing well, and Circle continues to move sideways. And as you can see here already, the alternatives. Otherwise, I'd say that's it from my side. It was a relatively short update, but I'm just not feeling well today and so on. I don't really need to tell you the same things I already told you yesterday. Maybe just very briefly, Fat Watch Tool is still at 97%. So nothing has really changed there either. And otherwise, things are pretty quiet right now. We have to wait until something really starts to move upward here. Thank you for watching. I hope we'll hear from each other again tomorrow. Otherwise, that's it from me. Leave a like, subscribe, join the Telegram group, and be sure to check out the Pionex bonus while it's still available. The promotion was specially extended so you can secure the free bots and use them to go long or short however you like. Maybe try out a few setups from the videos as well. And otherwise, I'd say that's it from me. Until then, bye, ciao, and as always, stay crypto.